Hey guys, so I've done a lot of review videos of these BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop palettes, but I have not done a tutorial yet, so I thought I would do one today with the Bubblegum palette. I have used this several times already. I have pictures posted on my social media of one look. Then I wore it in a video doing a different look, and today I'm going to do a third look because I think when a lot of people see this palette, this is the blue one, they might think that they would be limited to the different kinds of looks they could do, but yeah, you can switch it up and do different things with this palette. So today is going to be just a tutorial on this eye look. Now I've already done all my makeup with the exception of my eyes. So if you want to see any of the products that I used, I always list all my makeup products that I've used on my face in the description box. So we're going to start by priming my eyes with the e.l.f. eyelid primer in Sheer. I feel like I get a really good blend when I use my fingers because it's using the warmth from my body to help blend out the eyeshadow primer. And yes, I do have the e.l.f. Putty eye primer, but I prefer this. The e.l.f. Putty eye primer is very thick, too thick in my opinion. And I like a thinner consistency. Eyeshadows go over this beautifully. Okay, so let's get started with this palette. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this large fluffy shader brush by Real Techniques. This is number 200. And I'm going to go into Chili. Now, just so you know as we go along, the whole top row are shimmers, the bottom row are mattes. We're going to put Chili over the entire eye area. And sounds crazy, but there is a method to my madness. So I'm just going to pack some of that color on this brush. And I'm just going to dust that all over the entire eye area. So we're going to use this as a base for all our other eyeshadows. I'm going to try to use as many shadows in this palette, just doing the same thing on the other eye. I'm going to try to use as many shadows as possible so you can see all the different colors, but I won't be able to use all of them because you can only use so many shadows in a look. So there's 8 shadows in the palette. I'm going to use 6. So just want to make sure that this is blended evenly because this is going to be our base for everything else. Okay, now if you look at this, you can see like skin showing through right along the lash line there. So I'm just gonna dab a little bit more there. And then it looks like I have more on this side than I do on this one. So I'm just gonna add a little more to this eye to even it out. All right, that's good, I think. Okay, now, next, I'm going to go in with this AOA Studio E128 brush, and it's sort of a small tapered crease brush, I would say. And I'm going to go into my first shimmery shadow called Frozen. Pick up some of that on my brush. And we're going to do the brow bone highlight with this. So because the reason why I wanted to use chili all over is it's just going to give the look, it's going to soften it a little bit because we're blending on top of that light matte base. Okay, it looks like I have a little bit more here. Okay, now I'm going to dip my brush back in and we're going to do the inner corners with that same shade, like that. Now we're going to switch to a different brush. Okay, this is the AOA Studio E131. By the way, this is the Paw Paw collection on shopmissa.com. A certain amount of proceeds from these brushes go to an animal charity. Okay, so next we're going to do Pop. So we're going to go into that second shimmery shade there. And I'm going to pick up some color on my brush. And we're going to go right on the lids. I'm using like small patting motions at first. Then I pick up a little more and then try to go over any areas that look like they need more product. And then I'm going to slide the brush sideways to smooth everything out. Okay, so very blue. Very blue and somewhat shimmery, but not as shimmery as it would have been if I had just used primer. Okay, so now we're going to switch to yet another brush. And I'm going to use the AOA Studio E132 brush, and this is a small crease brush. And now we're going to go into this matte shade called Bubbles. Pick up some product. This one I'm going to tap off the excess. That's why. You don't want any excess product when you start doing crease work, because that's one of the ways that you end up with fallout on your face. Okay, so I'm going to start on the very outside corner directly in the crease. And I'm doing very small circular motions inward. I have added so many subscriptions, or I've added so many channels to my subscription feed now that I can't keep up. I don't know, I'm coming across people left and right. And I mean, it's good in a way because when I decide to sit down and watch some YouTube videos, I have plenty to watch now, but sometimes, you know, you get busy and then it's like, oh man, I don't have time to watch this many channels. Okay, so, you know, now I'm gonna go back over here and add just a tiny bit more because it's the hardest thing for me doing makeup is all about symmetry. It's very hard to get both eyes to look exactly the same. Other than that, it's pretty easy, I think. Okay, now we're going to go back to our flat small shader brush and we're going to go into the third shimmery shade, which is called Sweet Tooth. We're going to flip the brush over and pick up some of that shade. And it goes on your brush a bit darker, I feel, than it is in the pan. So we're going to go on the outside part of our lids. And we're going to layer just a little bit of that on top. And I'm just doing small sideways patting motions to blend that into the other colors that we've already put down. Okay, we have a lot of eyeshadow going on here. Now we're going to go into Sweetened, which is the third matte shade. And let's see. I'm going to go back to this small crease brush right here. And I'm just going to dust off the excess product on my hand. And then I'm going to grab one of these. Do you guys have one of these? It's like a color switch thing. They sell them at all different price points. This one is from Dollar Tree. Probably works just as good as the ones they sell at Sephora. I'm going to run the brush over this to remove the color because that's a shimmery shadow that I used last time with this. And, or was it? No, I think I used that for a matte shade. Okay, good. All right, so anyway, we're going into Sweetened. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that on my brush. And I'm going to dab that right on the outer V. Now I said I was going to use 6 out of 8. No, I think I'm going to use 7 out of 8. Let's really go for it. Now I'm just dabbing this, because if I start blending and moving this brush around a lot, it's all the colors are just gonna go everywhere and you won't have this definition. Just gonna pick up a little bit more. Okay, now I'm gonna take this small detail brush. It's the AOA Studio E134, and I'm gonna go into Blueberry. I'm gonna pick up some of that, and we're gonna go right along the lower lash line. Okay, I'm going to take a clean detail brush. This is the Zoeva 238 Luxe Precise Shader Brush. And we're just going to soften that line by blending right underneath it. So it's just a bit blended, not quite so harsh. Okay, so the only shade that we didn't use was the darkest matte shade, which is called Single Scoop. Okay, now I'm going to take this AOA Studio Buttercream Gel Liner in the shade Licorice, and I'm going to use the AOA Studio E133 brush, which is just an angled liner brush. And this is a black gel liner. Pick up some of that and do the waterline. Okay, that black really pops against that blue. Okay, next I'm going to take my NYX On the Rise mascara, and I'm going to do my lower lashes. And then I'm going to curl my upper lashes. Now I'm going to go into Milani, the Violet One Lash Primer. I'm wiping off the excess product back onto the lip of the tube. Otherwise, it's going to be too much. I love that they give you so much product, though. I think this is going to last quite a while. I do have a backup of this, though, because I really like it. I try not to buy backups of things though, because, you know, I love trying out new things, so I very rarely buy backups, but I was like, what if I can't get this again? So I panicked and I bought another one. All right, let's go back to the NYX mascara now. And do my top lashes. So I'm gonna wiggle and curl. Wiggle, lift, and curl. Put the wand back in, screw it down, unscrew, and take it back out. And then I just brush the excess back into the tube. Wiggle, lift, and curl. That is not an easy motion to do. It definitely takes some practice, but you will get the most out of your mascara if you can do that motion. So that's what it looks like when you're finished. Okay, so there's a lot of eyeshadow going on here, and if you really want to get it to not look so powdery, I would recommend a setting spray. I'm going to use Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist. Shake it up good because it separates like crazy. And this is also going to make my highlight, face highlight pop even more. And I can be very liberal with this because it is an ultra fine mist. And then I'm going to fan it so that I don't end up with any droplets being too concentrated in one area. So that is the finished look, and it's a lot of eyeshadow. You know, you obviously do not have to use 7 eyeshadows, but that's why I wanted to use a setting spray, because it just helps it take down the powderiness of it. But yeah, this is very like editorial-esque, but of course it looks like this on me, but might look bomb on you. Thanks so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys, thanks for watching.